subscribe. Tariq Radio. Like and subscribe.
And another thing with the Grammys, again, shout out to Brother Kendrick, who won 5 awards. Shout out to our good sister Beyonce, the lovely Beyonce, that she won the country album, a Grammy for her album, the Country Award. And do you know the Mayo militia? They were complaining about Beyonce. Did y'all know that? They were complaining. They were mad because Beyonce won the Country Music Award. She won the country category. And they were all on Twitter talking about we're stealing their culture. Family, these folks have the nerve to sit up here talking about we stole their culture. We're trying to appropriate their culture. How dare Beyonce appropriate our country music culture? And we started asking some of the suspected white supremacists, you do you not know that we created this? Oh no. Just because a couple of blues artists played, that doesn't mean they created country. I was arguing with one white supremacist. He was like, nobody. Country music was created by the Carter family and Jimmy Rogers. Sir, sir, the Carter family, they learned country music from a brother, FBA brother named Leslie Riddle. He's the one who taught them. If you point to these people, we'll show you the black people, the foundational black Americans who taught them. Hank Williams did. It was a foundational black American who taught Hank Williams. What, Rufus Payne? I think that's his name. A brother named Rufus Payne who taught Hank Williams country music. And Jimmy Rogers, that was the first big white country star. Jimmy Rogers, he learned country music from working on the railroads and watching the black railroad workers sing country music. They taught him. That's why when Jimmy Rogers first started, he was singing his songs in blackface. You understand? There's a reason why these early country artists were singing in blackface. I hate when they try to start talking about, yeah, they learned it from the Irish immigrants in the Appalachian Mountains. No, get the hell out of here. Oh, it was the Irish immigrants up in the mountains playing the banjo. Look, family, this is why it's important to know history. This is Black History Month. It's important to know history. Family, white people didn't touch the banjo until like 1830. You just do history here. White folks didn't touch a banjo. They didn't know what to do with a banjo until the 18 damn 30s. White people didn't know nothing about no banjo. We've been dealing with banjos. Black people for century over in Africa, they had a form of a banjo, but over here, we had our form of the modern banjo going back to the 1600s. This is well documented. There's paintings in the 1700s of us on plantations with banjos. The first white person to get with a banjo, what's this white boy named? Joel Sweeney. It was a dude named Joel Sweeney who sat up here in the early 1800s watching black folks on plantations in Virginia with the banjo. Then he started doing it, and then he started going around playing a banjo in blackface. He was another one who ran around in blackface playing banjos, and then he blew up. So for a long time, they were saying that he was the inventor of the banjo. If you look at old articles, they'll have Joel Sweeney as the creator of the damn banjo, which is bullshit. You know? This is what we're talking about. Family, these people have been appropriating our culture since the early 1800s. We create something, what they will do, they will directly emulate us by doing a blackface version of it. Then once that becomes real popular, they wipe off the black paint and say, hey, look what I created as a white man. I actually created this. You see? That's why we have to stop them doing that. That's why we microphone check. The movie was very important. We have to stop them from doing stuff like that because they do it all the time. That is their MO. Watch our culture, study our culture, emulate our culture. and then co-opt our culture and then act like they created it. And then when we circle back to it, they act like we're imposing on them. You see? So we got to check that stuff early. And we got this mindset of us giving our cultures away, and because we're so creative and we're so innovative, we're always creating things based on our Majara spirit. We have a spirit essence that allows us to just constantly create. We have an immortal creative spirit as foundational Black Americans. It's just endless innovation. That's the great thing about us. We have this ethnogenesis, and part of that ethnogenesis was to give us a creative spirit that just births new innovations all the time. We're always creating something new. That's why we're studied nonstop, and we're so predictable. That's another thing. Foundational Black Americans, we're so damn well, we're unpredictable. We're so unpredictable. That's what I mean. We're extremely unpredictable. They don't know what direction we're going to go in. You see, we're so unpredictable because of the creativity. So they don't really know what angle to rock with this on. It's real heavy stuff. But a lot of people are discussing a lot of Black history tidbits. Some people were talking earlier on Twitter about something I talked about for years. A lot of folks didn't know about the first EMTs in America who were Black, foundational Black Americans. The first emergency workers were Black. And there was a major discussion on Twitter earlier. A lot of people didn't know. And people were pointing out that I've been talking about this for years. We even got something in the Hidden History Museum about the Freedom House emergency system out in Pittsburgh. There were some foundational Black Americans who had a delivery service for the community, the Freedom House, and they got medical training. And there was an experiment to get them to do emergency training on the spot. And they were the first EMT workers before, and this was in the late 60s. Before the late 60s, before the Freedom House ambulance service, you didn't have like ambulance service as we know now. What would happen if somebody got hurt, you got shot or whatever, either you get put in a police car or a hearse, and the police car would take you to the hospital, but they wouldn't work on you because they didn't have any training. So there was no EMT service before the late 1960s, before these foundational Black Americans pioneered these techniques. And we were discussing it, and sure enough, some Mayo babbler popped up in the comments. Well, listen, all of that we was Kang stuff. Yeah, the first EMT workers were Black, but they were trained medically by a white man, dude. Listen, that's not what made them thorough. See, what made them thorough was how they implemented the training. Medical training has been around for a long time, but the way they implemented it, that was what made modern medical EMT training what it is today. And it was very important how they did it. You understand? Because they did it in a time where going into urban areas was very volatile in the 1960s. You understand? They needed these foundational Black Americans to apply these medical techniques in real time to learn what to do, what not to do. So it was very important that these foundational Black Americans were able to do it, because what they brought to the table, going out here on the block, going out here in the streets, going out here in the real world, doing these techniques, you had to have street smarts. White people could not have done this in those early stages in an experimental stage, because you would have to learn what to do, what not to do. Um, so Black people were definitely needed to do this, because living in that environment, they were coming from those neighborhoods. You had to have a certain level of street smarts in order to navigate and apply these medical techniques. And you had to have a certain spiritual essence to do it too. You had to have a certain level of compassion. You understand? Because see, a lot of these people, the Black folks, they had common identifications with urban health issues. So when these black EMT workers would go into these neighborhoods, which were usually urban, you automatically knew what was going on with the people. You understand what I'm saying? So if you showed up and somebody was foaming at the mouth, okay, he might be having a seizure. So you're familiar with that. Okay, let me get this. And because we listen, look, black people, I'm talking about y'all too. Most foundational black Americans, many of us are already, we have inherent medical training automatically as foundational black Americans. All right. Foundational black Americans, we are inherently, we're medical practitioners. We've been learning this stuff since slavery, just on the fly, because during slavery, black people, we had to treat our own wounds, deliver our own babies, heal our own sicknesses. Also, we had sisters who were midwives, they would deliver everybody's babies. We had knowledge of herbal medicines and remedies. Um, when people got hurt in the community, we had to know how to quickly make sure they were good because we knew nobody was coming to help. So we had to know how to attend to wounds and get people straight. Um, Even in the civil rights movement, we had to take care of people when people got hit with tear gas or whatever. We had to make sure everybody was good. Who are you going to take them? Also, we had those black FBA grandmothers and moms and aunties who knew how to heal people. So, just inherently, we already knew how to recognize certain symptoms in people when we arrived. So, when these EMT workers showed up, they can kind of see what was going on and they could quickly identify what to do on the fly to make sure the people are going to be all right. So, that was very important, especially in those areas. Because in a lot of urban areas, especially in the 1960s, we got to understand the urban areas are just surrounded with poison. These white supremacists put all types of poison in the community, from air pollution, the food. There's poison in the damn food in them little janky liquor stores and convenience stores. There's asbestos poisoning. In those housings, there's lead poisoning, just poison all over the place. So we understood what we were dealing with when we went in these areas. So we knew what symptoms to look for. So when the black people from the Freedom House would show up, if they see a kid who looks like they had lead poisoning, they're like, okay, we know what to do because I had a cousin who had lead poisoning. So let me go ahead and do this, do this, do that. Also, they knew how to de-escalate certain situations as well. They knew how to calm down erratic patients. Somebody's having an overdose, somebody's having a health crisis, so they know how to go in and just kind of talk somebody down, calm them down. Whereas even today, the white medical people, they're going there with the police, and if somebody's having an episode, what do? They shoot them. Yeah. Even now, today, you got people out here, black folks who might be having some kind of mental episode, and what they do, they just send somebody to go in there and blow their brains out. Just ridiculous ass nonsense. So you ain't gonna learn no medical training doing that. So those FBA brothers and sisters went in with compassion. They like, okay, this dude is spazzing out. Let me talk to him and calm down. Let me give you a little something. Let's do this. Let's do that. You're gonna be all right. We're gonna make sure you're good. We're gonna give you a little shot of this. We're gonna give you a little shot of that. So they knew how to go in there and just kind of de-escalate certain situations. Yeah. And that's another thing with we know how to recognize that people are having a drug overdose. We kind of know how to identify it. Just all of you, some of you guys, y'all know in your neighborhood, growing up or whatever, when you saw somebody kind of tweaked out on something, we be knowing what it is. Like we see somebody walking down the street tweaking a certain way, you're like, oh, that nigga's on sherm. This nigga shermed out. Or you see somebody kind of nodding off, oh, that nigga's on that heroin. Oh, you see somebody tweaking, oh, that nigga smoked a primo. Oh, that nigga's on that flocker. We can identify stuff just naturally. We know when somebody's on something. We can identify what they're on. Yeah. We've always been able to do that. So they were able to do that. They were able to go in there and see, okay, this dude, well, let me give him some milk when he's on heroin or whatever. Let me give him some milk. He's tweaking. Let me calm him down. Then I'm gonna give him a shot. And we'll give him some methadone. And So they kind of knew they had street smarts. It was very important for them to go in with that. And our FBA EMTs, it was very important that they were from that community because at the time in the 60s, I want y'all to understand, they could not have trained the firefighters to do that. I think they trained fighters later, but in the 60s, remember the firefighters, they were just as racist as the damn police. And the neighborhoods didn't trust them at all. I want y'all to understand that. In the 60s, see the firemen, they kind of come across as heroes or whatever. The firemen were racist as shit in the 60s. They were despised as much as the police because they had the same little old boys network. They had all these all white fire departments where they wouldn't let brothers in, just like with the police. All white police departments wouldn't let brothers in. Also, don't forget in the 60s, when you would see that footage of black folks getting sprayed with water hoses, that was the fire department doing that shit. Don't ever forget, they were working with the police to hose us down out there in Birmingham when you saw them hosing down them children. That very famous footage of in Birmingham, Alabama, where people getting hosed down. Don't forget that was a children's protest. They were hosing down Foundation of Black American Children, and that was the fire department in Birmingham. And they actually turned the pressure up on the fire hydrants so that the kids could get knocked down and knocked all down the streets. So let me tell you something, man. We saw that footage in the 60s. Brothers got their lick back. I want y'all to understand the police and the fire department was doing that little bogus shit, and the streets were getting their lick back. So in places like Cleveland, places like Chicago, like around 1966, there was a couple of riots up in Chicago. There was a riot in 1966. I think it's called the West Side riots, where, speaking of water hoses, there were some hydrants where some kids were playing with the hydrants and the police were messing with the kids, the black kids, but the Italian kids were playing with the water hydrants and they didn't do anything to them. So a riot popped off and they started sniping and busting on them firefighters in Chicago. This is in 1966. Also in Cleveland, over in the Huff area. It was a place called the Huff. It was a black neighborhood, and people were kind of complaining about the living conditions. And a major riot popped off in the Huff in Cleveland, and they start sniping on damn cops and firefighters. They were lighting asses up out there in Philly. They were lighting them firefighters up. They were sniping them off roofs in the late 60s. So firemen, their name was Mud too. So they couldn't do that EMT work in the 60s because people remembered them firemen out there using them hoses on brothers and sisters. So the community got their lick back. So it was very important that our FBA brothers were the first EMT workers. That was very, very important for them to do so. So we got to put everything in context. Also, when the black EMT workers went out there, the Freedom House, they could understand and correctly assess when some type of brutality happened. So when there was some type of trauma, some type of blunt force, they would accurately document it. Whereas white medical workers get on code with the police and they all get together and lie, which they do today. That's why they all sit around here talking about George Floyd had a drug overdose. That bullshit. They love doing that, getting on code with each other to lie. They've been doing that. They were doing that then. So the brothers and sisters, they show up doing medical training, and the cops are like, "Yeah, this guy fell off his bike," and the brothers and sisters doing an evaluation to see that this guy has some kind of trauma on his neck. Like, oh no, 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 somebody choked him, so we're gonna give him the proper procedure and the medication or whatever we need to help his neck because you done something to this dude. So they would honestly assess what was going on. That was needed. That was very much needed. And the world learned from these brothers and sisters. These brothers and sisters actually taught everybody else medical training because they were getting that real hands-on training. So we got to take our hats off to these brothers. I'm not giving credit to no white mommy, white daddy, because that's not what they use their ingenuity and their street smarts in order to implement that training and then teach that street smarts and that training to the rest of the world. So we got to put all of that stuff in context. Let me get Empress in here. Let's get Miss Empress in here. We ain't talk to her in a minute. Let me talk to this good sister. Miss Empress, hop in, beloved. Hop on in, dear. Miss Empress, hop on in. Let's get your mic together, dear. All right, Miss Empress, I wanted you on in here because we got a lot of folks in here already. All right, Miss Empress, I'll get you back in a minute when you get your mic together because I would love to hear from you, dear. And let me get some more people in here. Let's get y'all raise your hand if you're ready. Let's raise your hand if you're ready. Let's get Brother Soheem. Brother Soheem in the building. Brother Soheem, how are you?
Yo,
What's up, Brother Soheem?
the most honorable Tariq Nasheed. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, my brother. How are you, brother?
I'm good, man. I got a couple things I wanted to chop it up with you about. First off, did you see the storyline about the UK rapper Central C?
Yeah, he say he made like a Nike outfit popular out here?
He said that basically he was attacking FBAs. He was saying that FBA Americans, basically foundational Black Americans, wasn't wearing Nike tech suits until he was wearing it.
Oh Lord.
And he's a white man from the UK.
Lord. Yeah,
And
they
he
yeah.
And the thing about it with him is, it's so funny. We are the ones that propped him up.
Yeah.
He got all the features, Lil Baby, Future. I mean, he got all the biggest FBA artists, in the industry. And then he turned around and be like, "Well, y'all niggas got Nike techs for me." And then they went and pulled up the pictures of him, and he was looking, pictures of him from like 10 years ago, and he was looking real moist and sassy. So so that wasn't a good look for him. But I just thought, and my other question was like, why is a white man the biggest artist in the UK? You know what I'm saying? Doing drill rap. He a drill artist at
Right.
that.
And
So
they tried to lie and say we got drill from them. Remember that? They tried
yep,
to lie.
yep. They say UK. We got drill from UK. And the other point I wanted to bring up to you: have you been seeing 50 Cent calling Big Meech a rat?
Yeah, I just saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a good look because down here, wait, who is that in the
You're
background?
all right over there, dear. Empress over there just choking on some sunflower.
I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna wrap it up, Empress. I can't hear myself that good, but no, yeah. So they were doing like this big welcome home concert for Big Meech with
Yeah.
like over 20 big time artists. Like they doing a whole festival for him. And 50 just out of nowhere, like, yeah, this dude is a rat, his assistant, about to put out this tell all book. And so now a lot of those artists are dropping out of the damn festival.
Oh, damn. Damn.
Yeah, yeah, they already said Lil Baby is dropping out. A lot of the artists are like decommitting from the concert. So
Wow.
I just wanted to know what you thought about that, and I'll land there.
Thank you. So what's that? Sa- he's upset about basically Big Meech clicked in with Rick Ross, and Rick Ross is 50's enemy. So that's what that's about. But yeah, But hold on, let me get Empress in here because Empress over here choking on butter pecan ice cream. Empress, what are you doing over there, beloved? What's happening here?
I had me a nice joint, and I just, got caught up for a second.
You good over
Much
there, dear?
Detroit, much Detroit love to you. I send you sometimes little updates and stories to you and beautiful Nikki to God.
Yes.
You got to follow me back on Instagram. It's showing a lot of different things. Now, brother, you had wanted to know, how they've been saying about they was canceling Black History. So I sent you the stories. If you look at the inbox that shows the date, but I wanted to say happy, wonderful, official New Year because this is officially the year of the wooden snake. Now,
Mm,
what that's gonna mean in China, that's Taurus. You finna see Taurus is gonna bankrupt so many entities like a flash of lightning that when they go to try to stop it, it's that fang of venom that will be preventing the hand. So you will see universally from celebrities to automotive to a political, everything is going to be put in the fire and it's going to be real intense. 2025, 2026, and 2027, it's going to be blazes of fire. You see, 2026 is the year of the fire horse. Then we got fire sheep. Now, what does that mean in real time? Get ready to see enormous amount of fires coming by way of the sky. You're going to see numerous amount of plane crashes,
mm,
lands of fires. People going to be losing homes. And some of these people, unfortunately, Tariq, I know this may sound a bit shrewd in how I'm wording it. Some of these very people that think they're all of that and a bag of chips, when they lose it all and it goes up in flames, that's the only time that the antennas will go off. You're going to get a chance to see it all. Uh, you're doing great work, brother. Thank you for waking us up
yes,
and
man.
exposing, unlike no other time. You know, many people have a lot to say, but I'm noticing that the political climate is getting so now is focusing in on the term foundational Black American lineage that is bringing all kinds of BS because nobody wants to allow us to get what is entitled. And what the spirit showed me, because I'm a professional astrologer, but the spirit showed me either you gonna give it up now or you're gonna pay the consequences. And
Mm.
that's from a universal aspect. Either they giving up the just due reparations or their lineage of the oppressor will have to suffer because you can't.
There you go. I'm gonna land your plane on that one,
Yeah,
sister.
she sound like my grandma.
I know the Empress be cooking. Yes, she does. Shout out to Sister Empress. All right, Araya, what's up, brother? Araya,
Hey, Tariq,
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm 21 years old, and I watch all your videos.
Okay.
And
Speak up,
yeah,
brother. Speak up, please. Speak up.
I say yeah, I'm 21, and I watch all your videos, and I just want to say thank you for all you've done.
Yes, sir.
And
I, appre-
yes, sir.
I appreciate that so much, brother. Thank you. Brother sound like he taking a bubble bath in there though. Dude set. What's up, dude? Dude set.
Buddy, what's up? Dude said,
What's up?
sorry, I'm not on a meth anymore, if you know what I mean.
Oh, you're not on the pipe no more?
I'm just using nicotine and weed.
Okay, good, good, good. That's glad you're off that pipe. So what's on your
No,
mind,
I
man?
stopped alcohol, literally. I used to drink really hard,
Okay.
like 24 beers in a night, easy.
Damn. Man, you hurting yourself. So what's on your mind, man?
Dude, well, a little bit of crypto, not to get into garbage, but I like Dude Set, man. And you inspire people.
Okay.
And that's what, Dude Set Tariq, man.
Yes, indeed. All right. Well, thank you so much, dude said. Okay, there's still some remnants of the pipe on there because I don't know what you're talking about. So I think you're still taking a little toke. You might have had a little relapse.
to you.